Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here we are again after a short recess. Ketu, welcome to the fourth Table Talks.
Yeah.
And today we'd like to talk about myofascial trains, which we use a lot during our sessions in our little session room here, and you also in yours.
Yeah.
And
It's all about connections in the body between muscle and connective tissue, and how these lines affect each other in the balance of the body, in the connections in the body. Yeah. And how we can influence that to create more harmony and more balance and heal pain.
Yeah. Yeah, first let me talk a little bit about the history of myofascial trains. There's a rolfer, his name is Thomas Myers, and he was wondering about the connection between the tissues, and to do so he dissected the human body and found a relationship between 12 strings of fascia and myofascia, muscle tissue and soft tissue, connections between it and how it affects our posture. And that triggered me and us to use it in sessions. And I trained myself a long time ago with this little paper. It was on this, I still got it, it was in the book, I just found it this morning. And it was on the wall of my session room. And it helped me to understand the relationships between what I saw in the body reading of a client and how to relate it to the myofascial trains. And it's nice to study this further. We don't give you a full lecture of all the myofascial trains, but it's nice to read this book of Myers about it and study like for example the superficial backline or the superficial front line, how it relates. These two obviously have a relationship with each other. If people are more or less having a lot of tension in the front of their bodies, then if you release that, and it has an effect also on the backline.
Yeah.
And that's, if you start to understand this work, then you can do miracle sessions with people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the body reading you can see if somebody's turned, you get an idea of which line is tight and which line is pulling and which line is maybe too weak, and the relationship between the lines.
Yeah, you're talking about turns. This is what happens when they are turned.
The spiral line.
Probably.
And also this explains also what often happens when you're working with somebody on the table, and you work on a certain spot and they will feel it somewhere else in the body.
Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
And also because we are Myofascial Energetic Release Therapists, and our trick is to release energy from spots in the body. We train people also, both of us, you in Denmark, me in Holland, and soon in Italy. And we train people to find these spots and to release the energy from that spots, which has a couple of effects. One is the effect of a balanced, more balanced out posture, and that's what we talk about here. But the underlying holding in the fascia, in 90% of the cases, holds a lot of energy which has a relationship with the memory or an event of the life of the client at that point.
Yeah.
And so when you release that, then you can balance the person out in a more balanced out body. And that's why we talk about these myofascial trains today.
Yeah. So often what's also good to know is when this all started, what was happening in the life of the person, and that the person can also feel that there's a connection between holding, and tension, and also how you think and how you feel. So there's a physical side to anatomy trains to push and pull in the body, holding, etc. And there's also the emotional side, and we try to take that into account as well, so that we can really work on the whole person, not just specific spots. This is trying to access the self-healing capacity of the body.
Yeah. And it's also related to what we talked about before, to the character structures. Because if you can see the character structure in a person, then it also relates to a holding in one of the myofascial trains. And that explains a lot how to work on that person in order to release that holding pattern, that defense pattern structured in the body.
Yeah, so that you can see that early life experiences, how that also manifests in the body, that you can see that in the posture. This is more of an art, more than a science, but once you get into that, it's incredibly interesting and also incredibly beautiful how you can really help someone to not just change his body, but also his thinking and feeling and behavior by loosening up these structures.
Yeah, in order to find the flow of energy better, and in order to function better, in order to get a better feeling in their bodies actually. Yeah,
because you can say that the posture, the physical posture, is influenced by thinking, and feeling, but feeling and thinking is also influenced by posture. So it works both ways. You can work on the body, create more balance, open up blockages, and it will also do something with how you feel. This is really the miracle.
And how the world reacts on your posture.
Yeah.
If you are like this, nobody comes to you. But if you are like that, then you show yourself and you are friendly looking, so people come to you. Yeah. And also other postures have other effects.
Yeah, so that when you leave the session feeling more relaxed and more in your body, you will also be able to deal with people in a more relaxed way and to deal with the issues in your life in a more relaxed way. So we always encourage people to take the results of the session and really embody it and really bring it into the world.
Yeah, and that's what you tell now is related to resilience. People are more resilient when they are in balance and the energy is flowing nicely. They are more resilience in social behavior, but also in their bodies, in sports and stuff like that. Yeah. They have more resilience in their function. Yeah. And to restore that, you have to work on the spasm, the myofascial spasm, which is the cramped places in the body. And to do so, you have to find the spots in the first place by looking to a person. I do always in the front of the mirror. It's there, you can't see it, but it's here. And then people look at themselves and see their posture, and then you do the session, and you guideline yourself. And in the meantime, I was looking at this paper to find the relationship to the muscle and the myofascia in order to release tension. And for example, these are the arm lines. If you find a spasm on the front side, then often there's also something happening on the back side, I found. So and you have to work the both together, and in order to open up, for example, if people are like this, for example, in order to open up this, you need to stretch out this fascia, but there's a blockage on the back side to prevent that it's opening, because it was frozen in this posture for such a long time. So you have to work both sides. And when you release this spasm on the back and you stretch out the front, then you have a structural session which makes a lot of difference in their posture.
Yeah, So when you say that, I imagine the mast of a ship. You're a sailor, right? So you know a lot about ships, and there are ropes going everywhere. And if the ropes get tight on one side, then the ropes have to tighten on the other side as well. Otherwise, the mast will go this way, right?
Exactly.
So the body just is helping you by tightening up so that you can go upright.
Yeah.
But that means also when you work on one side, yes, you also need to work on the other side to create balance, to work on the agonist and the antagonist.
Exactly.
And the connection between them.
Yeah.
And
sounds complicated.
This gives a kind of strategy for how you can do that, how you can create balance in the body.
Yeah, and flow of energy. You can restore the flow of energy back. And this is the deep front line. I use a lot. I see myself using a lot of the deep front line, actually always, because it contains the psoas muscle, and there's so much tension in the psoas muscle on people these days, because they live under a lot of stress. And actually I found that if you have a spasm or tension in the psoas muscle, it's related to the suppressed action of running away, which brings us to this other thing we like to talk about, this fight, flight, freeze response, or foam place of being.
Yeah.
And it's stored in this running away muscle. I call it the running away muscle, the psoas muscle.
Yeah, the stress muscle, huh?
They can't run away, because if they run away, they get fired from their job. So they store this energy in this psoas muscle. Or, I don't know, if they are in the train every day and there's a lot of anger and stuff happening in the train, and they want to run away, but they can't run away because the train is driving.
But you know, it starts even earlier, huh? If you imagine yourself as a young child and there are things happening which are impossible to deal with in your family situation, there's nowhere to run.
No.
So all this energy that comes free from the emotion, and you cannot do something with it. It has to go somewhere. So then you store it in the form of latent energy, in the form of tension in the muscles, and at some point it becomes chronic. So when you at your work, when you also get stressed, you get pissed off with your boss, you also cannot go anywhere. You just do what you always do. You just store it.
You store the energy somewhere. Yeah, that's that. And I'm happy that I'm able to release some of that energy with my hands on people, and I'm really happy that I do this work. That's why we like to share with the world that the power of myofascial energetic release is so big and it's so little known that it's so powerful, and that it can really help people out of this stored energy.
Because you work on, by working on the body, you work on the unconscious mind. This is your conscious mind. This is your unconscious mind.
Exactly.
So by doing that, we can really help people make contact with things which have been lost and suppressed for a long time. And with this new awareness and this new embodiment, a lot of good things can happen for people. Like really a new start, where they see that they are not fixed, they are not tied to their own patterns, but that they have choices.
They have options, you know, they get the new
be
options.
more free in their lives.
Yeah, they get more options if they're freed from their holding patterns, which are basically formed also at work. If you have a problem with your boss, or if you are not happy with the work you do, then you store energy in your subconscious mind and the body. So and it stores a lot of energy there, and most of the time it's emotional based. But this is a good structure to work on people. That's really amazing. It helped me a lot to understand how people are formed. And there's also in this book, it's a nice book. There's also a lot of things about the function of the myofascial trains. And some functions are to stand up, some are to turn, to twist, and it's all intertwined. And that's the beauty of the human body, that it's all intertwined into an intellectual structure, and it's nice to work with that and to see the results. This really helps you to get a better result in your sessions. Yeah, if you understand what it's about.
Yeah, and still, this is good to have as a tool, as a reference point. But I also find that every person is unique who comes into your practice. So it's really about looking very individually at the person you have in front of you, and each person will require a different approach, a different strategy, a different, very personal program, and that's also possible using this model and looking at the person in front of you, and then forgetting everything, all your techniques, all your models, and really just relating to the person. And that's one of the things I like about this work. Like it never gets boring, because you have to actually reinvent MER for every person who is in front of you, and you have to find a way to use the technique for the person, and that you modify the technique for the person, and instead of the other way around, trying to fit the person to the technique. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, it's tailor-made. It's really tailor-made for the person that is receiving the session.
Yeah.
The depth is so personal. The structure is so personal. The way to have the talking is so personal. Yeah. Some are half deaf, so you have to talk out loud.
Yeah.
Some are really sensitive for sound. Some people, I use music during my sessions. Some people can't stand the music, so I have to put it off. It's so personal, and it's nice to tune in to your client.
Yes, yeah, no, I like music too, and recently I had a person who told me, you can play music, whatever you want, I like it, but no piano music. I said, okay, fine. Yeah. So this contact with the client, and also really communicating with your client about how things feel and how they experience things, so that they can really also stay very connected with their experience during the session is a very important part of MER. We are not just treating somebody who is receiving the treatment. It's really working together to get the best results, both on a physical and an emotional level. So how people experience what we do is very important. Some people, they respond better to lighter touch, other people to more deep touch. Some people respond really well to talk and connection and movement on the table, whereas other people, they benefit more from letting go of control.
Yeah, it's true. We play, as a matter of fact, in Myofascial MER, Myofascial Energetic Release, we play with breath work, we play with touch, we play with vocal cueing and movement. So it's 4 elements actually, and it's all tailor-made. So you have to really tune into your client to do this right, and that makes it an art. But if you practice it a lot, it's nice, and then you see that if it's well tuned, then all of a sudden a person starts to unwind.
Yeah.
Into their original structure, into their original self. And when they come to that point, if they are in that original self feeling, then you come into the self-healing place. And people really heal themselves. We can only invite them, but we have to really play that art. Yeah. To really tune into that person.
It's about sort of functioning as a kind of catalyst, that you can go to the places where you can set things in motion in the body that actually the body wants to do. The body wants to go back to its original design, to its blueprint. So how can we help that to happen? Yeah. So, and that is really about accessing the self-healing properties of the body by doing the right things, not too much, not too little, but just the right amount. That the natural healing process gets a push.
can unfold itself.
Can unfold, yeah.
And this is a good map to do so, because then you can just read bodies where it's cramped up. And if you also in the back of your mind have this picture of character structures, how that feels and stuff like that, then you are so well tuned in to the person on the table that it will happen quicker and quicker when you study this.
Yeah, you get experience after a while. If you train with us, it will also train your intuition, so that at some point your hands will know how to find a way more than your brain, right?
Yeah, that's
more than your
true.
mind.
That's also true. But it's also good to show your client. Nowadays I don't work so much with this anymore, because it became natural for me to do this, and I go there. But it's nice to show your client that he is holding in a certain way, and after the session you do it again, and then you show them, hey, you see, now you are in a different form. Your shape is different there, and you point out the difference between before the session and after the session. I think that really has a psychological effect on the person that receives this work.
That they can see the changes.
Yeah, and that they can see that there really is a profound change in their form.
Yeah. Now for me, posture is something fluid. It's not, if you are stuck in a certain posture, something is missing. Yeah, and you're probably also a bit stuck in your life.
Yeah, and in a way that is formed in our through our primal wounds.
Yeah.
And later in life through divorce, through whatever happens, accidents, stress, trauma. Basically, trauma forms structure, hold in the body, health in the body.
Trauma has a big effect on your health as well as your structure and your posture, and it's all connected. This whole story of adverse childhood experiences, where if you have a number of adverse childhood experiences, they are actually able to show through research that your life expectancy is lower. So this body work is not just to feel good, it's also to improve your health. It does something with your whole metabolism, with your whole functioning of your body, and that's the amazing thing with the body, how everything is connected, and how connective tissue has really a key role in the whole health of the body, and emotionally and physically.
Yeah, true. And there's more aspects about this, but we like to talk about this subject today, and I think we highlighted the most of it. And what else we want to say? We want to talk a little bit about the next podcast, and if you just get a member of this channel and you find a place under the video to comment this video, then you can ask also for subjects we like to look into for you. So yeah, I think that's a good idea.
If there are things you wonder about in relation to body work and therapy, just let us know, and we will talk about it.
Yeah, and you can find the next training somewhere underneath this video as well. The link towards
you can go on Great Connections. .nl
or Myofascial Energetic Release _EU is also a good place on Instagram, where there's announcements from our trainings.
There's also a website, MERScandinavia.com, for the trainings we do in Denmark.
So, thank you for watching this, and thank you, Ketu, for
doing
this together. I like to talk about our passion.
I get excited, and it's fun to talk about, and I feel passion and just a pleasure, because it's really a joy to work like this.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Bye bye.